Hi all. In today's session, we are going to discuss how to update a existing record in your DB and how to delete the existing record from the DB. So to update the existing record in the DB, I am going to use put HTTP method, and to delete the record from the database, I am going to use delete record. So how we will update the record from the DB? So by using primary key. So all right. If I fetch the records by using get method, so these are the records. It this API fetched from the database. Now I want to update the record one. So whose employee ID is one. So for this, in our web service, in our Spring Boot web services, we need to pass the employee ID as well as a total request. So I am going to pass this employee ID by using @path variable. Path variable. And at the same time, we need to send the request body also. Request body also. So how your URL means your web service endpoint will look like this: http localhost slash port number 8080 slash API slash emp slash 1. So this is the value I am going to pass as a path variable. So I am going to read this path variable in my RESTful web service, and I am going to update the particular record. So if you are using path variable, so how to pass the value dynamically? So slash 1 or 2, 1 at 1, 1 at 3, like that you need to pass. So for that I am using path variable, and I need to send this total request also. So that's why I am going to use request body. So path variable, how to read the path variable value? So from your URL, means from your endpoint only we will read. So how to pass the value dynamically? Slash 1 at 1. So employee ID you need to pass. So if your employee ID is 1 at 1, so you need to pass employee ID slash or 1 at 2. Now this value we will read in path variable and we will update. So let me go to my STS. No, public void update emp by id by id. So now, so open brace, close brace, so no compilation issues. So first I need to read the total request. Request body because the update value will be presented in your request body only, right? So that's why we need to read the request body and which employee we need to update. So means, so which employee we need to update. So how we will identify with the primary key. So how to pass the path variable? Path variable emp id. What is its type? It's int emp id. So now open brace and close brace. Now, so set this value, that set emp id. So whatever the emp id we are passing from our HTTP means endpoint, that will be mapped here, and that I am passing, and after that repository dot save. So total entity. Now, so whatever the value you are passing from your end means endpoint. So that value comes here, and whatever the value you are giving to the in the request body will be updated to this IDE return. So now, so I need to change it to so now. So my update method is ready. So this will read the total request, and for which employee ID I want to update. So this variable gives the employee ID for which I need to update the data. Now I want to make, so now it's ordinary method. So I want to make it as web service. So what logic we are doing? So we are using put mapping slash row slash emp slash how to read the path variable. That's it. So till here, see, till here, so till here, till here, your request URL means your endpoint. So http colon localhost colon 8080 slash emp. So whatever the value you are passing it here, 1 or 2. So till here means till here. So this is your URL. Whatever the value you are giving here will be mapped to this variable, and this value will be read here, and this will be binded to this variable. So from here it comes to here. So now here we are, which method we are using? Put method, because we are going to update the record. Now let's, so now after that delete. I want to do the delete also. So delete also we are going to do with the employee ID only. Let me write a delete public void emp delete emp by ID. So emp by ID. So open brace, close brace. Now, no compilation issues. Now implement your logic. So here also I am going to read the data by path variable only. And here I am not going to pass anything in the request body. But when it comes to update, so here when you are talking about update, we are passing the request. We are passing the JSON in the request body. That's why we are using this. And this path variable we are passing in the URL. But here just we need to delete. That's it. Now what you need to do, so repository dot delete by ID emp ID. Now it will delete the record. That's it. So now how to make this as endpoint? Delete. What logic we are going to perform? Delete mapping, and here also we are going to use delete mapping. Same story. Here also we need to use this. No. So it's done. So how many APIs we are having? 1, 2, 3, and 4. And one more thing is I'm getting all the employees, but I want to get a single employee. So that also comes in get. Get will return list of values and a single value. So I want to get an employee with employee ID. So public void get emp by ID. By ID. Close brace. Now No compilation issues. Here also I need to read the value. So I want to read a employee ID of 101. So how your URL will look like? See how your URL will look like. HTTP colon localhost colon 8080 slash emp slash 101. I want to get the employees of 101. So here I am using which method? I am using get method. Oh, sorry. So here I am going to use the get method. So and so let me write one more time. So here in this scenario, I am going to use HTTP colon localhost colon 8080 slash emp. Now this is the ordinary URL. Now I want to pass. I want to get a employee record, particular employee record. So we need to pass the value dynamically. So for that, I'm using path variable. So 101. What will happen? So this value will be read here, and it will get the record. So here, which method we are using? Post method. Sorry. Here we are using get method. So it will get. So same URL. If I'm using delete with delete HTTP method, what will happen? So it will delete the record. Same URL, if I'm using with put and request body, along with the request body, request body. So what it will do is updates. So same URL, depending on the method, it will perform the operation. If you are using get, it will fetch the record. If you are using delete, it will delete the record. So this value we are passing dynamically. How to read this value? By using path variable. So now everything is ready. So now that find by ID. So this ID I need to pass dynamically. So from where I need to pass? So from my URL, means from my endpoint. So how to read that endpoint value? By using path variable. So now let me make it as REST endpoint. So get mapping. So now in this scenario also, we are going to pass the value dynamically. See, so now how many endpoints I am having? So if you look at this, control A, how many endpoints I am having? This is one endpoint, this is another endpoint, this is another, and control X. So forget. So these are the 5 endpoints I am having to perform CRUD operations on my database. So let me look into this once. So now, how many endpoints you are having? So, HTTP. This is the important HTTP localhost 8080 slash emp slash emp. So if you are using post, so it will post the data. Same URL, with the get HTTP method. So it will get all the records, list of records. Same URL with 101 and slash get. what will happen? So it will get the record of particular employee. So this and same URL, if you use with delete HTTP method, so it will delete the record, and same URL, if you use update HTTP method, put method or patch, so what will happen? So this URL will update the record. See, till here same, but extra we are using this. So how to read this? By using, and when you are working with your project, the URL should be uniform always. Till here everything is uniform, right? Extra we have added path variable. So your URLs always should look like similar. So till here everything is same. Here we have added query pair, or you can have slash something 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 also, no issues. It's all depends on your project requirement. But all the URLs till some extent should look like similar. So these standards you need to follow. Here instead of emp employee 1, here I can use employee 2, no, employee 3. You are not supposed to do like that. So let me test my application. So my application is ready. Now, run Spring Boot application. So my application is started at default port number 8080. So let me go to my Postman and test our all 5 APIs. So this is a request I am passing for post. Post will create the request, means create a record. So now post, I'm using post method and body. So it's a JSON. So it's a JSON. So by default, your RESTful web services will expect a JSON request. If you won't provide consumer also, it will by default it takes as a consumer as JSON. So now send. So 400 bad request. Post. Okay. Sorry. It's so first you need to validate your JSON. How to validate your JSON? Go to a site. Your JSON is not proper format. Validate JSON. So if you go to this site, before you send the request to your service, so validate the JSON. So here I forgot to add the double quotes. X. Now validate JSON again. So now my JSON is validated. So now it's according to the JSON standards. Now it will be parsed. So now send. See, it's added one more record and the status code is okay. And these many milliseconds is took. Now I want to get all the records. See, I got all the records, 4 records. I want to get a particular record. only single employee. So here we are passing 4. So how your web service will read this value? By using path variable. Now send. Yeah. Get what happened. Let me look into the code. Yes, sorry. Get. I have not returned anything. Return. See why you are using optional. It's a Java 8.5 8, sorry, JDK 1.8 feature. So if the record is not found, so you may get null pointer exception, right? To overcome that, it is using optional. Now my server is restarted automatically. Now let me see. You got the specific employee. So this value, whatever the value you are passing dynamically, so that you will get. If assume fifth employee is not there, we are getting null, but here we are not getting any null pointer exception because of this optional. Now I want to update a record. So this record I want to update. So if you want to update, so which method we need to use? Put method. Put method we need to use. So and here we need to pass. So in your method we need to pass two variables. One is request body. Total request you need to pass, and at the rate path variable. So if you look into our code, see update. So the method we are using put, and here it is expecting a request as well as a path variable. So now I want to update this record. So from Madhapur to I want to make it as kphp. Now put send. See record is updated. So go to here and get. See, this record is updated. Forget, yes, request body is not required. If fourth record I want to get. See, whatever we have updated. Now I want to delete this record. Delete. So delete. Now what will happen? It will delete the record of employee ID with 4. Now it's deleted. Again get employee ID with 4. None. No record is there. So now if you look into this, these are our. So when you are working with your web services in Spring Boot web service, please remember that. So your URL should look like similar. All the URLs will look like similar. So for post, get, put, delete, all the things your URL should look like similar. Means it should be similar. If you want to add some extra values, yes, you can append those values. So here I am appending query parameter. But here you are not supposed to change. Till here it should be similar. So this is about how to perform CRUD operations on your database. Here I am using MySql database. So you can use any database, no issues. So if you are using Oracle database, so what are the changes you need to do? Suppose here I am using MySql, but you want to use Oracle database. So this file you need to change. That's it. So driver name, you need to give the Oracle driver name and data source. You need to give the Oracle data source and the username and password, and you need to give Oracle dialect. That's it. Everything will work as expected. So hope it's clear. Yeah. In my next video, I will explain how to deploy this application into AWS cloud. And there I'm not going to use local database. Here, if you are looking into this, I'm using local database, but there I will use RDS. So yeah, hope it's clear.